Today, the #1 show in Korea's top 10 series on Netflix is True Education. It seems to have a total of 10 episodes. I've just started watching it. The first episode is about a school taken over by a school violence perpetrator who commits ruthless violence, backed by his powerful parents. An inspector from the Teacher Rights Protection Bureau is sent there, and then in the second episode, another character is brought in. This school is practically run by half-gangsters who have taken over, and he's the one who steps in to resolve that kind of situation. Also, as you can see, I started the third episode but haven't finished it. In this particular episode, there's a high school influencer who spreads false rumors about a teacher. And this story is about him being pressured by false info. This is a part of the character relationship chart from The Glory, which also deals with the theme of school violence. In novels and movies, because they're fictional, analyzing a character's body constitution might not seem to carry much meaning. However, if this were a true story, these days truly horrific, sadistic acts of violence occur so frequently that people claim it's no longer even surprising. So, what is Moon Dong-eun's body constitution? And the perpetrators, Park Yeon-jin, Lee Sa-ra, Choi Hae-jung, and Jeon Jae-joon, let's figure theirs out. Yes, body constitutions broadly fall into two types, tender mind and tough mind. Why red? Our internal functions manifest in our personality and even on our faces. So when we say strong-hearted, or if we say someone is tender-hearted, the color red symbolizes the heart. Next, this black symbolizes the kidneys. Let's see. Wood, fire, earth, metal, water. Wood, fire. This character meaning fire refers to the color red. The last one, water, is black. Organ-wise, it's liver, heart, spleen, lungs, and kidneys. Liver, heart. Shim is the heart. Shin means kidneys. So when we arrange the colors this way, if the heart is, let's say, hyperactive, that's a tough mind constitution. If heart function is low, it's a tender mind constitution. Thus, the tough are strong-hearted. Tender, conversely, are soft-hearted. The liver is the same. A hyperactive liver means tough. When we say someone has a lot of nerve, it symbolizes a tough mind constitution. Conversely, a small liver implies a tender mind constitution with poor liver function. Therefore, tender types need to bolster their heart and liver further, which is why I've positioned red here, signifying the heart. Conversely, tough types, experiencing diminished kidney function, have been arranged with black to symbolize the enhancement of their kidney capabilities. So, is the split between tender and tough exactly 50-50? No, that's not the case. In Korea, these ratios typically manifest as this, 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 and this. So you could say that it's approximately 1/3 and 2/3 of the total. You have to be strong-hearted, have a lot of nerve, and be incredibly bold to commit acts like murder, robbery, assault, arson. And this kind of school violence is included in that. Park Yeon-jin, Lee Sa-ra, Choi Hae-jung, Jeon Jae-joon, and Son Myung-oh have tough mind constitutions. And there's always a law of conflict in body constitutions. So if one side is tough, the other side is tender. When the perpetrator is tough, the victim is tender. So Moon Dong-eun has to have a tender mind constitution. When adapted for film, actors are always cast, right? When an actor's own body constitution aligns with the character they portray, the synergy is significantly heightened, and audiences become deeply immersed in the performance. All right, let's take a look at the actual body constitutions of these actors. The Four Human Types Research Institute, which I always reference for body constitutions, lists their types right here for you to see. Here it is. A post from March 19th, 2023. A 2023 production. Already 3 years. Yes, I looked up the lead actress, Song Hye-kyo's body constitution, and it is revealed right here that she is a tender mind Tae Young-in. So a tender mind Tae Young-in symbol, This is tender, that's tough, right? I've often said water, fire, earth, air, sumin, soyangin, taeumin, taeyangin. Song Hye-kyo is a tender taeyangin. And when we look at Moon Dong-eun's character in the series, although she is a fictional character, she also appears to have this tender body constitution. Let's see what else. Here's the biggest villain from The Glory. Park Yeon-jin, no, the actress Lim Ji-yeon who played her, also has this tough mind body constitution. In the show, Park Yeon-jin also seems to have this body constitution. That's why the synergy is so strong. Actress Kim Hye-ora, who played Lee Sa-ra, is also listed with this constitution. Here. And next. And Cha Ju-young, who plays Choi Hae-jong. She's also listed with this tough mind constitution. Our actress, Cha Ju-young. So anyway, I mentioned that the character Choi Hae-jong seems to have a tough mind constitution. So, with the actors and character sharing the same body constitution, the synergy is much higher. And Jeon Jae-joon, portrayed by the actor Park Sung-hoon. Actor Park Sung-hoon is also a tough mind type. Now, based on his actions in the show, Jeon Jae-joon seems to be this type. And since the actor's constitution matched, the immersion was incredibly high. That doesn't mean that these actors with tough constitutions have actually committed school violence. Above one's body constitution is one's character. There is good character and poor character. So a person of high moral character is called Jin, true character. And for low moral character, we use mang. Where do we usually use that word mang? Like in beunmangjok, meaning ungratefulness, or mang, as in ruin. It's divided into whether one's constitution defines a mang character or not. So I'm not speaking ill of the actors here. Please don't misunderstand. Your character is always above your constitution. In the drama The Glory, Moon Dong-eun's mother appears. Her biological mother. Let's look at her constitution. I mean, just because she's a biological mother doesn't mean she's a good one. Now, her daughter, Moon Dong-eun, has a tender mind constitution. However, based on the mother's actions, she exhibits behaviors of a tough mind constitution. When a parent and child have opposite body constitutions like this, tender versus tough, conflicts arise and they just don't get along well. This means body constitution is inherited like blood type. You inherit it from one of your parents. So Moon Dong-eun didn't inherit her mother's body constitution. So she must have inherited her father's constitution, meaning her father has a tender mind constitution. Well, in such situations there are indeed numerous negative consequences that can arise. For example, just because parents have opposite constitutions doesn't mean all their children will be born sick. But in cases where a child is born unwell, with a disability, a rare disease, or is just frail, when we trace it back, we find the parents had opposite constitutions, and when opposites meet, their children are also likely to find incompatible partners, as compatibility is inherited. And if parents with opposing types met, they should have eaten separately, but they probably didn't. Consequently, the parents are prone to developing certain illnesses, and since family eating habits are often shared, it's not uncommon for children to inherit their parents' ailments. This highlights the crucial importance and necessity for tender mind types to pair with other tender mind types, and tough mind types with other tough mind types in many aspects of life. Yes, the actress who played the mother is Park Ji-ah. Actress Park Ji-ah is also listed as having this body constitution. As I mentioned, that means the sync is very high, which makes it a case of excellent casting. So instead of just tender and tough, let's explore more specific body constitutions, shall we? Let's take a look at our Moon Dong-eun, Dong-eun's body constitution family tree. So Dong-eun is the tender type, specifically the air type. She inherited her father's constitution, but her father must have passed early, as he wasn't in the show. She inherited her father's body constitution. They're of the same type. Now, the mother is a tough mind fire type, A soyangin. Well, since her father isn't showing up, he must have passed away or something like that. So in this situation, it's a household with just the mother and daughter, but they have opposite body constitutions. When that's the case, there's a high probability of conflict and clashes. All right, now, let's finally transition and take a look at the roles and actors from True Education. Okay, the main character. Actor Kim Moo-yeol, who plays Na Hwajin, and also Choi Kang-seok. Lee Sung-min is the actor. And then Pyo played Bong Gun-dae. Next, Jin Ki-ju. Who played the role of Im Han-rim? Yes, all characters in the drama have tender minds. Indeed, the space here is so cramped, and the tender population is quite small. Since 1/3 of Korea's population is tender, their traits are kindness and seeing people as equals. And they can't tolerate injustice. That's a key trait of the tender type. They are also willing to risk their very lives to uncover the truth, which is another defining characteristic of a tender person. These characters have a tender mind constitution. But what about the actors? Let's see. Right, actress Jin Ki-ju's constitution isn't identified. And our lead, Na Hwajin, played by Kim Moo-yeol, remember the gangster, the cop, the devil? He gave a brilliant performance there, and he's listed right here. In a June 27, 2019 post, the gangster, the cop, the devil's director, and lead actor's body types. Let's check Kim Moo-yeol's body type. It states directly he's a Sumin. Yes, the Sumin type is precisely the water type among those with a tender mind constitution. And of course, yes, our brilliant actor Lee Sung-min is featured here in a post about the man standing next, specifically from February 21st, 2020. Here, Lee Sung-min is identified as a Taeyongin of the air type within the tender mind constitution. Next is Pyo, who played Bong Gun-dae. His real name is Pyo Ji-hoon. Our Pyo has already had his body constitution analyzed. It's been identified, but it's not fully public, only partially, so I can't disclose it to protect the copyright. However, Pyo is a member of the idol group called Block B, isn't that right? You know Block B's song Her, don't you? There's a Japanese version of it. I actually appeared in that music video. If you take a look here, you'll see Block B's leader, right? The person standing immediately next to Block B's leader is none other than me. Yes, by chance I ended up appearing in it, and the person right next to me is Block B's leader, Zico. Now let's take a look at Pyo as well. Yes, Pyo is right here, isn't he? Well, back then, I actually took on the role of the talk show host. Just as America has its renowned Oprah Winfrey, Japan has Tetsuko Kuroyanagi, often called Japan's Oprah Winfrey. I took on that role, alongside Block B. Back then, by watching, I also got to understand the members' personalities. Your body constitution is your personality, so personality differences stem from that. Then you can tell if they're a tender or tough type. So it was a chance for me to get a little glimpse into Pyo's body constitution. Wow, seeing this after so long brings back memories. Yes, that's Pyo, the one who just walked by moments ago. While filming, I sensed a certain vibe. I emphasize discerning if one is tender or tough, and I try to grasp that. Knowing the ratio of tender to tough, yeah, I believe that was quite helpful during filming. Okay, so I mentioned the law of body constitution conflict. The targets of this true education are all presumed to have a tough mind constitution. As I mentioned earlier, being a tough type doesn't automatically mean someone will commit murder, robbery, rape, arson, or school violence, you know. Because character is above body constitution, a tough type with good character won't do such things. Let's see what the media is saying about the Netflix drama True Education, which was released in June 2026. Dopamine for teachers, #1 in 46 countries. True Education's Two Faces, drama True Education. New Teacher Rights Bureau. Laws hindering teacher protection must be reformed. True education craze. And legal sanctions for teacher rights violations handled strictly. The violence is just fantasy. Director Hong Jong-chan, walking that fine line. Yes, that's director Hong Jong-chan. He's the director of this series, and he's also the one who directed Juvenile Justice prior to this. Next, Yoon Sung-ah's surprise event for Kim Moo-yeol's big hit True Education was a happy time. Yes, Yoon Sung-ah is actually Kim Moo-yeol's real-life wife. Actor Kim Moo-yeol and actress Yoon Sung-ah got married in 2015, so it's been almost 11 years now. They seem to be living so well. Of course, you can't believe everything you see with celebrities. There are many show window couples and families, but they don't seem like a show window couple. When genuinely happy, a tender type truly thrives with another tender type. And a tough type is genuinely happy with another tough type. Anyone can be a show window couple, but with this, you just get an intuitive feeling. Thus, if Kim Moo-yeol met a fellow tender spouse, their domestic success likely boosts their external triumphs. That could be yet another reason why they thrive. Next media story. Will True Education top Squid Game? Half of Netflix's top 10 are school violence stories. Why so many? There's a reason. They reflect reality. Is Netflix's True Education fantasy? Reality is worse, yes. Oh, an opinion piece. Pastor So's True Believer Lesson. There's even a headline. Will True Education start in Cheongnam schools from July? It states they're launching a Teacher Rights Protection Officer. As time goes on, violence will only get worse. This simply means life is becoming more difficult. Of course, that's true for Korea as well. This drama is popular worldwide, and it reflects the state of society. It seems especially severe in Korea. There are educational issues and, well, everyone is a prince or a princess. Kids these days, because they're so precious. So the way they're raised, that has an impact too. Also, life is just getting more difficult. We're all caught up in the entrance exam competition and all that, but that doesn't necessarily mean everyone gets into a good school or lands a great job, right? In reality, most people just barely get by, earning an amount equivalent to the minimum wage. If you calculate a monthly salary on minimum wage, you probably take home around 2 million won. So, with that meager amount, you're supposed to sustain yourself for an entire month? To suggest that someone should manage that while also dating, getting married, and raising children is frankly preposterous and utterly unrealistic. So there's nothing for us to enjoy, but society's demands just keep growing. It's infuriating. The anger builds up. That's why I think crimes and violence like this will only get worse over time. So there are structural societal problems, and there are also these issues with body constitution. These are animals with a tough mind constitution. They are living beings, specifically those of a tender mind constitution. When a tough mind's true nature emerges, it instinctively tries to eliminate the tender. Of course, humans can control their instincts with reason. However, when you are cornered and life becomes increasingly difficult, there's a definite limit to how much you can control your instincts with reason. Thus, if life is unstable, you experience discrimination, and existence is truly difficult. It becomes clear as day, as plain as seeing fire, that such violence will only become more and more common. And when a tough type sees another tough type, that killing instinct doesn't really emerge. Given it's the law of constitutional conflict, when a tough meets a tender, when they encounter a tender like this, their killing instinct truly comes alive. And even among fellow tenders, they are eerily adept at spotting the weakest one. And that's why, even in schools, they'll pick out one outcast to mercilessly beat up. They torment and drive them to their deaths, into suffering. Even then, they immediately recognize the even weaker tender. They can intuitively and subconsciously discern that quite readily, actually. So, to stand up to a tough, A tender needs to try and not get entangled with them at all, and also, the tender must grow much stronger and assert themselves more forcefully. To build energy, one must be healthy. The core of this is tenders consuming tender foods and toughs consuming tough foods. Food controls not only our bodies, but also our minds. So if a tender continuously consumes tough foods, naturally physical illnesses will manifest, but mental challenges will also emerge. It's the same for toughs. If a tough keeps eating tender foods, illness or cancer will inevitably develop. And if they persist in evil deeds, karma will inevitably catch up, and they'll eventually pay the price. If they don't face it themselves, someone they cherish, someone they love, will definitely bear that karma. But if you try to talk about karma and such to young teenagers, to younger folks, well, it's just going to fall on deaf ears. We require a social system to be established that unequivocally and severely punishes misdeeds when they happen. And, as was evident in this drama, it's a case of guilty with no money, innocent with money. Possessing power means you escape punishment, regardless of the egregious acts you commit. In that case, such evil acts and crimes won't be eliminated, will they? These aren't things that ordinary people can handle on their own, which makes it quite challenging. However, it seems we truly need the courage and collective effort from our entire society to stand up and combat these issues together. So, today we discuss the drama True Education, which is currently topping the charts on Netflix. We delved into its themes. I'll see you next time with more fantastic content. Thank you so much. Farewell for now.